Hello everyone, welcome to Quantsapp. In this video, we will be learning about market structure, how you can trade between 9:15 to 11:45. You just need to analyze the first 15-minute candle and that will be it. So before starting the video, if you are new here, you have to go in the description. There is a link below with the help of which you can download and install Quantsapp web application. After successful registration, you will get some free tools in the application that will help you out in your trading. We have a separate video library here as well. So in this video library, you will get multiple videos based on Pro Plus tools as well as on various strategies, and these videos are available in multiple languages, so you can watch them in your meantime as well. Now at any point of time, if you guys are having any kinds of doubts or query, so you can contact us. You just have to go here in the support and you will get our contact number as well as email ID, so you can contact us and we will be there to sort your queries out. So let's start today's lesson. In today's lesson, we will be talking about a strategy in which you have to trade with the help of the first 15-minute candle. But before that, let's see how we can analyze the market structure here. Okay, now the thing that we will be using in this video, that will be first of all supply and demand zone. Okay, supply and demand zone. Okay, now this supply and demand zone, we will be analyzing or we will be finding them with the help of market structure. Okay, with the help of market structure. Now the question remains, what actually the market structure is. Okay, now the market structure, so I'll give you a very basic definition. Whenever we are going to find out like which are the supply zone and which are the demand zone, so you can draw them in a bigger time frame as well or in a small time frame as well. Okay, now for suppose there was a candle. Okay, so there was a red candle, something like this. Okay, it was a good decent candle. After that we noticed there was a candle something like this. Okay, so it can be a doji candle as well. Okay, after that we saw there was a green candle something like this, and then the market started moving upward. Okay, so now this region is showing me that this is a clear point of interest, you can say, because from this zone the point of interest has changed, right? Before that the market was coming down, but after that the market started moving upward, so it can clearly show us that this is the point of interest from where the interest has changed from sellers to buyers, right? So now at any point of time, if my market will again come back to this region, okay, so if I'll draw it further, okay, so now at any point of time, if my market will again come down to this level, so that will be denoted as my demand zone. Okay, because from here again a new buying can start, so this is my point of interest, or you can say it is a demand zone because from here the buying is getting started, right? Similarly, if you are trading in the negative direction, so I'll give you the example of supply zone as well. So for suppose there was a green candle something like this. Okay, and after this green candle there was some weak candles. You can say there were some weak candles, they can be green or they can be red as well. So somehow like this. Okay, and after that there was a significant red candle, and then the market has changed its interest. So this is a market structure that is showing me the interest is getting changed here because this is my point of interest, right? This is my point of interest. Now from this zone the interest has changed. Before that there was a good buying, but after this the market shifted with the sellers, right? So we can say this is a point of interest, or I can denote it as my supply zone as well. So it will be my supply zone. Okay, now if it, I will just draw it like somehow like this. Okay, now at any point of time, if my market will again come to this level, okay, so I'll be ready that again there can be a selling that can start from this region. Okay, so this will be my supply zone. Okay, so I hope you got to know what is a supply zone, what is a demand zone, and how you can draw them, right? Now the strategy that we will be discussing today, that will be applicable on the first 15-minute candle, right? So the candle will be of 9:15 to 9:30. 9:15 to 9:30, right? Now when we have to analyze that candle, we will analyze that candle only when that candle will form on the supply zone. So if that candle will form on the supply zone, so we will be ready that the market will go in the bearish direction, and if that candle will be on the demand zone, so at that time we will go for the buying, because from the demand zone the buying usually the buying starts, right? And from the supply zone usually the selling starts, right? So we have to analyze what is the demand zone, what are the supply zone. We have to draw them. You can draw them before the market, you can draw them one day prior to the market, right? And after that you just have to wait for the starting of the market on the very first candle. If that will be formed on the supply zone, that will indicate there will be a bearish movement. If that will be formed on the demand zone, that will be indicating a buying movement or a bullish movement, right? Now there is another thing, like when we have to take the entry. Okay, so for that I'll give you an example and then we will be heading towards the application. Now for suppose this is my demand zone. Okay, so this is my demand zone, I'm drawing it here. Okay, or you can say the point of interest as well. Okay, we have analyzed from this point of time the market. Before there was a bearish movement and after that a significant bullish movement started here. Now again I have drawn it in my market and I'm waiting for the market to start. On the very next day the candle started here. Okay, so this was a candle something like this. Okay, so this candle was formed when the market started at 9:15. When the market started at 9:15. Okay, so the candle formed on my demand zone. Okay, so this is my demand zone. Okay, so the candle formed on my demand zone. Now it is indicating me that there can be a bullish movement that can start from here, right? Now I have to time my entry. For that entry, what I will do, I will just mark the high of this candle, right? And this high of the candle will be my entry point. Okay, this high of the candle will be my entry point. Okay, so for suppose the high of this candle is 240. So on 240, whenever the market will cross 240, that will be my entry point. So I will be taking entry on this very entry point, you can say, or on this value, right? I hope the concept is clear. Now for the stop loss, I will make the low of this candle as my stop loss. The low of this candle as my stop loss, right? So this is for the buying scenario. Again, if I have drawn, for suppose I have drawn a supply zone in similar way. So let me just draw a supply zone as well. So for example, this was a supply zone. Why supply zone? Because I have seen there was a significant downward movement that has started from this zone. Now again, I am waiting for the market to make a 15-minute candle at the starting of the market at 9:15. Okay, so suppose there was a candle that has formed here at this supply zone. Okay, so this is my first candle of 9:15. Okay, I'm using the time frame of 15 minutes here. Now whenever this candle will be getting closed at 9:30, so I will mark the low of this candle. That low of this candle will be my entry point. Why I'm making a decision in the negative direction, why I'm going with the bearish direction? Because this candle has formed on my supply zone. Okay, this candle has formed on my supply zone. If it will be forming on my demand zone, so at that time I'll go with the bullish. But if it is forming on my supply zone, I have to go for the bearish direction. I hope the concept is clear. Let's go ahead. Okay, now the high of this candle will be my stop loss as well. Okay, and then at any point of the time when market will break this level, break this entry point, I will trade in the bearish direction, and vice versa when the candle will form on the demand zone, right? So I hope the concept is clear. Let's directly go on the application, but before that there are two conditions, there are two exceptions that you have to follow. Okay, now what are those two exceptions? Let me make it clear to you. The first exception will be this trading strategy will only be applicable from 9:30 to 11:45, because after that this strategy will not be very much significant or efficient. Okay, so that is the time frame that you have to follow. Okay, 9:30 to 11:45 only. Okay, so for suppose this was the candle that has formed from 9:15 to 9:30. Now till 11:45 this high is not getting broken. Okay, and this high is getting broken at, you can say, at 1 p.m. Okay, so I will not go with this strategy because this is applicable till 11:45 only. Okay, so this is the first condition, right? Okay, now the second condition. For suppose this was the first 15-minute candle. Okay, and it is forming on the demand zone, so obviously I'm trading in the bullish direction. This is my entry point. Now before breaching the high of this candle, or before breaking the high of the candle, the market first breaks the low. Okay, the market first breaks the low. For example, the high was 240, so 240 was my entry point, right? And for suppose 180 was my stop loss, right? The market, before making the entry, the market breaks the low. Okay, so then this strategy will be failed. You don't have to use that strategy in that scenario, right? If my market will break the low of this candle, before breaking the high, or you can say before taking the before I'm making entry in the particular trade, so this strategy will fail. I will not trade with this strategy on that particular day. I hope the conditions are also clear. Let's see how we can use this concept in real trading. So for that, I'm opening Quantsapp application here. So let me open the Quantsapp application. Let's just directly go in the analyze section and we will go here on the chart. In the chart. Okay, so here I have opened the chart. Now first of all, let's analyze this in the Nifty. Okay, so let's analyze this strategy on Nifty. So in Nifty, I am opening the time frame of 15-minute here. Okay guys, so you can see I have opened the chart of Nifty here. The time frame that I'm using is 15-minute. Now first of all, I have to draw a perfect demand and supply zone. So for that, I'll just choose a tool from here. Now you can see if I'll draw a demand zone here from this point of time. So you can see approximately this was the demand zone. You can say why I'm denoting it as my demand zone, because you can see from here a good upward movement was started. So if I'll mark it here, okay, so you can see from this point of time a perfect movement in the bullish direction started, right? So I can denote it as my demand zone, right? Because from there the buying started. You can see first of all there was a bearish movement. From this point of time the interest has changed. So you can say this is my point of interest or this is my demand zone, because from here a good buying was started, right? Now you can see again on the December, you can say approximately, I guess it is 2nd of December. On the 2nd of December, this was my first 15-minute candle, right? So this was my first 15-minute candle. Let me zoom it out a little bit for you. So this was my first 15-minute candle, right? On this first 15-minute candle, first 15-minute candle, it was formed, or it was originated, you can say it was formed very close to my supply zone. So what I'll expect a bullish movement, because from the demand zone usually the buyers take over, right? So I will just mark the high and low of this candle. What was the high of this candle? So let's see what was the high of this candle. So let me just zoom it out a little bit for you. Okay. So this was the first 15-minute candle of 2nd December 1915, you can see. Okay, now what was the high of this candle? The high of this candle was 24,310. So 24,310 will be our entry point. Okay, so I have to take the entry on that very particular price, right? What will be the stop loss? So the low of this candle, that was 24,168, that will be my stop loss, right? Now you can see when my market broke my entry point, so this was my entry point, so my market broke it at this point, right? So this will be my entry. For the stop loss, I will mark the low of this candle as my stop loss, and then you can see the market went in the upward direction, right? So this is how you have to take the entry in a particular trade. Okay, let's say some other example. So let me take the example of previous market as well. So let's see where I'm getting a good demand or supply zone. So from here you can also see this was a good, you can see here as well. So approximately, if I'll tell you, this was my demand zone, because from here a good movement started, right? Previously a good movement started from this point of time, and before that the market was moving in the downward direction. So I will mark this as my demand zone, right? This is a point of interest from where the interest has changed. Again, on this, actually on the 22 November, I can see there is a 15-minute candle that was formed on this demand zone, right? So that was formed on this demand zone. Let me zoom it out a little bit for you. So you can see this was approximately my demand zone, right? This was approximately my demand zone, and from this very point, okay, my candle started. This was the very first 15-minute candle. So this is the candle that I have to analyze now, because it is formed on the demand zone. So a buying can start from here. I just have to wait for the entry points to get breached, and then you can see the high of that candle was my entry point, and when it got broken, so that was my entry point. And approximately this was my entry point, approximately 23,700. The stop loss was this, and then you can see a good upward movement in this particular index, right? So we have taken the example of Nifty. Let's just take another example of a stock as well. So for stocks, we can choose a stock. So let's take some random example here. So I'll take the example of Dal Bharat, because it was giving good movement from last few days. Okay, so let's take the example of this one. Okay, now in this stock, let's analyze what is the supply and demand zone Okay, so you can see which was the first candle. Yeah, I got a supply zone here. Okay, so we can take the example of supply zone as well. So you can see my market was moving in the upward direction. Okay, and from here a good downward movement started. It means this is the point of interest. Okay, this is the point of interest, or you can say a supply zone as well, because from here the interest has shifted from buyers to sellers, right? Now again you can see this was my market. Okay, this was the if I'll extend this supply zone further, so this is approximately my supply zone. Now you can see on the date of what is the date? So the date is approximately 28, right? So this is the 28 date. This one is the candle. Okay, this is the 28, yeah, this one. Okay, so this is my candle, the first 15 minute candle, that is of 9:15. So what I have to do, my candle is formed near my supply zone. It means a downward movement will start. I have to make the entry, so the entry point will be the lower of that candle. The low of this candle was 1841, so 1841 will be my entry point. The high of that candle is 1857, so 1857 will be my stop loss. Okay, so 1841 will be my entry point, 1857 will be my stop loss, and then you can see my stop loss is intact, and then the market went in the downward direction. Okay, so this is how you have to take the entry. This is how you have to take the use this strategy. Make sure just you are using this strategy between 9:15 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. only, not after that, right? So this is how you can use this strategy. I hope आपको मजा आया. So this is a strategy that is based on the perfect market structure. I hope ये आपके लिए useful होगी. अगर आपको मजा आया, you can like this video. You can share it with your friends as well. Make sure to share your views in the comment section. अगर आप नए हो तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करके जाना. Thank you so much guys. This is your trainer Ankit Singh Rawat. Have a good day.